doing something entirely new and different. For the first time, we are doing 3 plays on one set in the Elizabethan Theater, which is an enormous project. We're not just building a set, we are transforming the space. We are bringing a little bit of Lithia Park into the Elizabethan. The original idea was to try and make the Elizabethan exactly like Lithia Park, except that then we lost the flavor of the Elizabethan. So instead, we're really working on transforming the space to bringing the bare bones of the Elizabethan and adding a natural element, adding wood, adding stones, adding water, adding rocks, adding rings and ropes for people to swing on, and ponds and tree stumps. And we're going to be doing the 3 plays, Robin Hood, A Midsummer Night's Dream, and Cymbeline, all on a specific one area environment set. And it's an incredible project, and we really, really wanted to share it with you. We talked about bringing a little bit of Lithia Park into the Elizabethan, which means rocks and stones and moss and grass, and it all starts here in the scene shop. So what I'm doing right now is working on making stone steps, which we make out of foam and plywood, and then carve it from a little model piece about this size. I work from this that our designer, Michael Gagno, has created, and looking very closely at the model and then carving away at pieces of foam, we can create a stone step. Now we do the same thing for the big pieces of rocks, which start out as solid foam blocks, and we cut it to the shape of the base. We work off of Michael's model, carve it to the shape that he likes, and then paint it to the colors that he wants. We're also working on putting together the wood deck in the scene shop right now, which is fantastic. We have a lot of pieces and parts. It's a beautiful parquet, and maybe we'll be able to get a look at the model to see where we're going from our starting point right now. So this is the set for all 3 outdoor shows. There are various pieces and parts that change out for each specific show, but this is the general feel of it. Now, one of the reasons why we thought it would be so successful to do these 3 shows on one set is that all of the shows are split between the court and the forest and everything that happens in between. So of course there's a comedy of the Midsummer Night's Dream with the court scenes, and then the lovers ending up in the forest and all kinds of hijinks ensue. Robin Hood, very much the same thing, the forest versus the court. And then Cymbeline, the romantic tragedy, where there's definitely the split between the court and the forest. And so this set has a central part with a parquet pattern that implies a court, and then all throughout the background there's forests, there are trees and moss and rocks and stone, and we want it to be as realistic as possible. We are using real stumps, and the rocks that we're building, we're going to try and be as realistic as possible because our scenic artists are amazingly talented. And then we have all of the wood in this huge wooden ring, which is reflected in the various circles that go throughout here. We've extended the second level of our Elizabethan theater to give the actors a thrust forward playing space. There are platforms that roll up and down stage. There's an elevator that goes up and down. There's a pond for one show. There's a huge stump for another show. There's swinging ropes and rings for Robin Hood. So it's terribly exciting and a very versatile set that Michael Gagno has created for all 3 shows, working with 3 separate directors and 3 separate scripts. It is no easy task, but it is beautiful. The deck is in. We've got the floor installed in the Elizabethan Theater, and now what we're focusing on is the elevator and slip stage, the moving pieces and parts that are going to provide variety for each one of the 3 shows that are being done out here. We have created, with our automation team, the ability to lower a section of the stage, pull it out of the way, and then bring an elevator up out of our trap room that will feature people riding up and down on it, that will be creating a pond that people get thrown into, that will leave us the ability to make secret entrances and exits, and it just helps change things up for every play that we do. So each one of the plays, while being done on the same set, can change things around a little bit, because as much as the plays are alike, they are all very different as well. Thank you, Ryan. Trap rooms, by their very nature, generally have to be under the stage, which here means underground. So we are in the basement of the Bomer Theater, actually extended out underneath the Elizabethan. And this is where we create the theater magic that makes the elevator go up, that creates secret entrances and exits, things sliding on and off stage. And some seasons we just use it for storage, but this year we are using it to its max. Behind me, you see theater magic. Yeah, it's computers and motors and things that I cannot even begin to comprehend. And I thank God for our team of machinists and mechanics and computer operators and programmers for being able to make this possible. In this design, the Elizabethan Stage House provides a gateway into the deeper forest. Upstage of the main doorways in the center of the Elizabethan, in the stage house, there is this amazingly detailed forest painting work that our scenic artist painted over in one of our spaces. And when it's lit up and we have the trees there, it is this amazingly beautiful entryway into the deeper woods. Peter, what are you building?
Building Imogen's bed for cymbaling.
Imogen's bed for cymbaling. What are some of the materials that you have used to build this bed?
Some of the materials I've used are plywood, pine, medite, steel.
And does this come up on the elevator, or is this on the set the whole time?
This is on the piggyback that rolls down the slip stage.
Okay, so one of the things that we have in our theater is the ability to move things upstage and downstage from our center port using wheels and tracks. And how long does it take me to do this?
Oh gosh, on and off, I've been working on it for about 2.5 weeks. So.
2.5 weeks, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Peter.
For Midsummer Night's Dream on the Elizabethan stage this summer, we're making, one cool project is we're making 3 different size moons. So when the little fairy children come out, one sneaks out of a mushroom that Tasia built, and he comes up with this little glowing moon, and then he hands it off to another one. He goes over to the stump, another thing Tasia made, knocks on the door, another fairy comes out of that, takes a small moon away, comes out with a slightly bigger moon that's glowing, and they do a little dance with it, and then eventually that little moon goes out the inner below, and then they come out with a 3-foot size moon, which they carry out, and then they hook up to something and it flies up and becomes the moon for the production while they're out in the forest. And then at the end of the play, in theory, we reverse that process where they bring it down, they take it away, they come back out with a medium size that goes, and then the little boy goes down the little mushroom thing again with the small one, thus signifying the end of the play.
One of the brilliant pieces of this design is that it doesn't try to cover up the Elizabethan. There are aspects of the Elizabethan that just will never go away because it's a beautiful grand structure, 4 stories tall, with the upper level held up by Herculean columns that are 4-story tall octagons that taper at the top. So instead of trying to hide them, Michael Gagno has put more of them into the set to look as if the set has grown up within the Elizabethan theater, and the theater has grown around the set. the magical memories for me of childhood and being outdoors is fireflies. And they've brought fireflies to our set in the Elizabethan. The ones who have done it are our amazing electricians. They have created a firefly special effect that they're going to be using on our set. And they put fireflies onto and all over everything using LEDs and computer technology. All of our columns are wired, the ring is wired, and these guys are working so hard to put 300 plus fireflies into the set for our summer shows. One of the magical elements of A Midsummer Night's Dream is Titania's bower, which in this version is shaped like an enormous stump. It's got secret passageways, and right now is only partway done. Soon we'll be able to see the finished product. One thing I've realized in going back and forth between the shop and the Elizabethan in the last week is the importance of the ring to the entire design. We're creating this beautiful ring. This ring looks like it's made out of wood, but it is actually created with an incredible steel structure background that takes 3 circles that start at a single point and brings them back in. It's covered with wood and moss, and what it does is it completes the picture frame for the set on the Elizabethan stage. It pulls your eye up to the sky and back down again to the beautiful set that Michael Gagno has designed.